Hi, folks. Cliff from Talking Pondo here. I want to give you a quick warning about the upcoming episode. We do talk about the movie in quite a bit of detail, plot points, and so on, so there will be spoilers. And just fair warning, there is some adult language every now and then, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. Also, you can watch our latest film trilogy, Writing Frenzy, Revenge of Zoe, and The Love Song of William H. Shaw. Those are available on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Fossum, Hoopla, and Zumo. So get out there and give them a watch. I hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening. No, it's a good digression. I think you're spot on. So imagine that this is here's another crazy thought. Imagine this is Tootsie Part 2.
Oh yeah, I like this more than Tootsie. I did.
Okay, but imagine it's Part 2. It's a direct sequel to Tootsie, and Hoffman married what's her name, right? And they had 3 kids, and then she went and became an interior decorator because the soap opera killed her off. And then he continues to just be Hoffman in his career, and just be a shithead who can't continue to get work.
Right.
And you've got Tootsie Part 2 all of a sudden, right? Yeah. And then he decides to put the Tootsie outfit back on to get back with his kids and be it's perfect. Look at me,
right? Tootsie,
in an alternate universe, this is Tootsie Part 2, in my opinion.
That's a very good observation, because I could see it's like I'm going to fool him again. I made a new character.
He puts on
Welcome to Season 3 of Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest.
All right, Marty, we're back.
Mrs. Doubtfire joins the Chippendales will not be seen this week, so we may bring you the following tease of an episode.
Fantastic.
He liked me doing these dumb jokes at the beginning, and so now I have to do it every week. So sometimes they land a little better than others, but I try to always combine 2 goofy elements of the 2 films.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Love it.
That would be the Mrs. Doubtfire sequel, because today's films are about the wild lengths that some fathers will go to see their children after a divorce.
Well, and it's also about kind of, I don't know, like maybe not the best dads in the world. I think you mentioned it before the podcast. Get a job.
Well, they could have avoided all of these circumstances if they had just, gotten a job. But the full Monty people were trying to get a job. But before we get too far into it, I'm Marty. This is Cliff. We're back with another episode of Talking Pondo, where we talk about 2 movies. This week's movies are Mrs. Doubtfire and The Full Monty, 2 movies that have a lot more in common than you would think at first glance. And this is another Talking with Guests special episode. This week we have from Lillee Jean Talks Live. We have Lillee Jean herself joining us on the podcast. Some of you may have known her from her show. There was an episode recently where she was talking to Eric Schumacher, as you may know from our movies as well. And so we decided it's about time that we get her on this show. So
welcome. Hey, welcome.
Hello. Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me on.
It's going to be a good one. We got a couple good movies here. This is going to be a fun one.
Hello. You also have me. So duh.
It's true too. This is very true. This is going to be a lively one. I'm excited.
So we gave you Full Monty, and you brought us Mrs. Doubtfire, right? If I recall correctly. Okay.
Why Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, I love that movie. It's so emotional, and you could feel that movie, and that's why it stands out to me. I always love watching it. I watch it at least once a year. You feel it, and movies that make you feel something have a special place in my heart. So I thought you guys gotta watch this.
Well, for the people at home, what is this sort of demented version of Mary Poppins known as Mrs. Doubtfire, Cliff? What is the synopsis? And they even had Mrs. Van Dyke at one point, who was in Mary Poppins.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Hang on here. Here we go. So Mrs. Doubtfire, so your logline is, after a bitter divorce, an actor disguises himself as a female housekeeper to spend time with his children, held in custody by his former wife. Held in custody sounds very...
Yeah. Under lockdown.
Penitentiary in a way, right?
Look, all he did was bring a zoo to the house. There's worse things to do.
Oh, by the way, we skipped it. Lillee Jean, we were talking earlier. You just had big news about a thing that you signed into, right? I just wanted to get that. I want to kind of I share that early in the podcast so that people can hear about it.
Thank you very much. It's bigger than a thing. I'm going to be
I'm
director
sorry.
of...
I didn't want to try and define it. Let you.
Oh, listen up, Cliff. I'm going to be a director on Right to Kill, which is a book to TV series adaptation that's going to be shooting in London and New York. It was announced in Deadline, and I am so excited for it.
Sweet.
And I want to thank you guys for letting me air that on your show.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, and we wanted to, just in case, how people listen to the first 5 minutes of a podcast, want to get that in there early and make sure they hear it. So, all right, back to Mrs. Doubtfire. You asked me what Mrs. Doubtfire is. The log line's pretty crazy. Basically, his wife is holding his kids in prison, and he's trying to get close to them by wearing a bodysuit. All right, so storyline. Eccentric actor Daniel Hillard is an amusing and caring father, but after a disastrous birthday for his son Chris, his wife Miranda draws the line and files a divorce. He can see their 3 children only once a week, which doesn't sit well with him. He also holds a job at a TV studio as a shipping clerk under the recommendation of his liaison. But when Miranda puts out an ad for a nanny, he takes it upon himself to mask a disguise as a British lady named Mrs. Doubtfire, and he must also deal with Miranda's new boyfriend, Stu Dunnemeyer. The handsome Stu Dunnemeyer.
Stu.
All right, let's jump into it. So, is Mrs. Doubtfire? Let's do this. First off, I forgot about the cartoon opening. Right away, I was like, shit. Because I texted Marty and I was like, do I really need to watch this fucking movie? I have seen this movie so many times that I feel it's like Star Wars. I feel like it's burned and sort of into my psyche, right? And right away when I'm watching it, I was like, all right, I'll honor the podcast and I'll watch, the process. I'll honor the process and I'll watch it. And sure enough, I forgot about the frickin' cartoon right off the bat, which was great with the bird and the smoking and all that. It was fantastic.
Well, when he does the voices too, it's excellent. I mean, Robin Williams, come on, that guy, so absolutely freaking talented. Like, I mean, come on, this is like, I put him up there with like Judy Garland as the greats. Because this is like just a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his speed and his ability are crazy insane. What's funny though is like you're watching it, you're going, dude, you can't really ad lib on a cartoon. You have to.
Yeah, already that you can't add the thing about the smoking, right? But
yeah. Well, of course, that's what breaks it, right?
A lot of smoking in both films, actually, because back when cigarettes were still prominent in movies, smoking or non-smoking, it's so funny to hear that in a movie because it's just something you won't hear in real life anymore.
No kidding. And in California, no less. That tells you how far back this is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So was there more to, because I know you read like the synopsis or the log line and then like the synopsis. Was that the whole?
That was it.
The whole thing? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right because, they did mention the other boyfriend who's barely in the movie. I think I would have liked to seen a little more Pierce Brosnan throughout the film.
I could have done with a little more Pierce. I could have done with a little more Mrs. Doubtfire and Pierce going at it.
You know what? I feel like it was a healthy dose because you get to appreciate the want of Robin Williams' character through that gentle boyfriend there. You get to see the want, the detest, the pool scene, especially when he goes into his male voice. You get to see that, and Pierce's reaction when he gets hit in the head, the back of the head, and he just kind of knows. Okay, then Mrs. Doubtfire hit him. We all know
it was a drive-by fruiting.
Right, but I feel like his performance gave. It was so fulfilling, and you got to see Robin Williams' character struggle. You needed to see the struggle in order to understand this man feels like he's been killed. He feels like his heart was ripped out. And this guy is just nonchalant walking around? Who is he?
You bring up a good point because usually in these type of movies, like the new boyfriend would be a jerk or whatever, and it's easy to root against him. But in this one, he's being the ideal father figure that he was trying to be, but he couldn't get out of his own way.
But we still hate him. We still don't like him. We still don't like him because he's replacement dad and he sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he feels a little intrusive, honestly, to be honest. Like, the mom just kind of like, okay, I'm going to cut you out, and now I'm going to paste my perfect husband right in this photo that I took with my children, with my old husband.
Right.
There you go. And it feels like an uprooting, and it feels selfish almost. So this is definitely a different flip compared to the other movie we're going to be talking about, because the ex-wife turns around in the Full Monty.
So I had this thought. So
yeah.
And really, I kind of was thinking about Sally Field's character in this and thinking like, imagine being married to Robin Williams, right? And how great that could be when he has a lot of money and when you're secure in the knowledge that you're not looking for, that you don't need him to be an earner, right? Or that you don't, you know what I mean? But yet she, in the movie, she's like, I need this guy to be the other half of this relationship and the other half of this household. And what's he doing? He's fucking off. Right. And so I thought it must be, imagine Robin Williams as a husband or a dad, but not famous or rich. And that's gotta be kind of fucking scary. It's like having somebody who can't control their ADHD just fucking popping off at work, like, God damn, this is your 4th job this year, bro. Come on.
Right.
Help me out. You know what I mean? So I don't know that they play it well. Columbus plays it well in this film and makes it a comedy, but like there's a kind of a stark realism where you're like, dude, get a fucking job and hold that shit down. Come on, man.
Right. I understand the point, but the only thing that sticks with me, because I was thinking similar to you, Cliff, the only thing that sticks with me is in the movie she mentions that she fell in love with his jokes and all these things.
Right.
It's like you knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
You knew who he was because you went to find somebody who was not you.
Right. Yeah.
So
and he tells her that she's changed, and she agrees.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, yes, I have fucking changed. And, we live in this big house in San Francisco, and we need a lot of money to sustain our lifestyle. And I'm making a lot. Why can't you make a lot? Why can't you get a job? Yeah. What is it? One of my favorite lines is when, and I'll say this, at the point where Daniel moves out and moves away from his family in this film, I feel like at that point, the writer could have literally fucking gone anywhere. Like, he could have taken this dude into being a fucking psychotic killer because he lost his kid family. He could have taken him into the Mrs. Doubtfire ring, or he could have gone so many different directions. The film feels like there's just this moment of like, what alternate universe are you going to jump into?
Right.
Like, which path are you going to take? But so he goes to the lady who ended up being his like caseworker, and she says, "Do you think you're funny?" And he said, "I used to. So there was a time when I found myself funny, but today you've proven me wrong. Thank you." And it's probably my favorite line in the entire film. It really is just, it's perfect. Yeah. Cause it's just this perfect moment where like, he's not going to give up. Like, he's like, I don't care if you think I'm funny or not. Like, I'm going to be who I am, which I completely adore.
It's a really poignant part that you mentioned too, because you see a struggle here. Did the mom figure make a good choice? The children suffer. They're in pain, and she, I assume, feels like this pain will just go on. But it's like she kind of just leaves them in a lurch in a way. I feel like that emotional baggage, just like, bye, see ya, hope you enjoy the next state you're moving to. I feel like there is that, and so you could really, that reflective statement of, you've proven me, that I'm not funny. It's like,
I'm not funny. Yeah,
it's there.
And what does mom do to deal with the kids in their emotional state? She hires a nanny.
Right. She leaves them
Perfect.
She leaves them off. They, you know what? They had a schedule though. They had a schedule of things they liked to do with their dad, and she kind of tore their schedule, which is where I come up with selfish, because now you're not thinking of your children. You're thinking of just you.
Yeah.
There's that part.
Yeah, she's always at work. She doesn't know the schedule. Yeah. He's already doing the Mr. Mom at home thing.
Right.
Marty, what did you think about the driving stuff in this?
It's fine because it's the old old
Those are
school,
right.
you know, the rear
Okay.
projection when they're driving down the street. But
There were a couple of times where I was like, "Ooh, that rear projection,
yeah, that's okay. But
that's rough. That's a little rough."
you
Oof.
mentioned driving and you mentioned alternate realities of the movie. My alternate reality is at the end when he gets the kids in the car and he drives off and they never hear from him ever again. Hey, I don't have to deal with you anymore, Mom. Nothing, you know, terrible. I'm thinking that's more like your 1 hour photo, Robin Williams, creepy.
Oh, that's so good.
It's just like, oh yeah, bye.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
The creepy ending. Yeah, it was just like that's just too weird. You know, I also thought it was funny when he finally gets his own place and they're ragging on it, but I'm like, and that's a pretty decent size dwelling. You're doing all right.
It's a big ass apartment, man.
Expensive in San Francisco. I mean,
It's just
very
like
expensive.
Geoffrey.
Yeah,
Yeah. You did something right there.
right.
Another one of my favorite lines comes up. I am Job.
Oh no, his accent.
Oh my god, dude. I am Job. Position's already been filled. Click. Oh, it's so good. That's so good. That whole thing, the thing I'll say about this movie is Chris Columbus is very smart. He knows what he knows what he's got in his hands talent wise.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Sally Fields plays well off of people. He knows that Robin Williams needs this space to improv and kind of go off and pop off. Right. So he builds them into the story. All right, we're going to have a whole house cleaning sequence. You're going to do risky business with the
Right.
you know, this and that and so on. We're going to do this whole job getting sequence where you're on the phone calling constantly. We're going to do this early sequence with the bird and the cartoon. And we're going to do the makeup sequence with Harvey Fierstein where you get to just fucking go off with all these, you know, the matchmaker, it's perfect. It's so good. And Columbus is very, very smart to really, he's like, I'm not gonna curb my talent and try to force it into a box. I'm gonna let that shit out. You know, figure out how to constructively put it on screen and not make it seem manic or out of control. Right? It doesn't. You know, he plays it perfectly. Where when he goes really off, it's usually not good for him. When he goes manic and goes kind of really nuts, it's usually doesn't play in his favor very well. You know, it's when he's Mrs. Doubtfire and he's in control and he's doing what he's supposed to do that, you know, it seems like things go well for him.
I totally think that's an actually really excellent observation, Cliff, because yes, when he is himself, Robin Williams, he shined. He shined. And you didn't need anything else there because it just was so natural.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I feel like this movie has that heart.
Yeah. Oh, definitely a ton of heart in this film.
You get to that ending part, and it's more of the sitcom logic of it, I call, where it's like, Mrs. Doubtfire is not feeling well tonight. You have to have dinner by yourself. Okay, see you, Mrs. Doubtfire. Change into yourself and get your job. But that would be too easy, wouldn't it? And who would save Pierce Brosnan from choking on the shrimp? That was your fault in the first place for putting the pepper on there. Well, you know. It's funny. Also, we had an obsession with putting people in fat suits after this movie for a bit, right? There was things like the Nutty Professor, the Big Mama's House. Yeah, you know, we kind of drifted away from that in more recent years, but it was a thing for a bit. Oh, the Austin Powers movies did it for a bit. And wasn't this character called Fat Bastard, which they say in the full Monty, like how many times do they call him Fat Bastard? It's just weird.
True. It's true.
But I
fat bastard. No, it's a good digression. I think you're spot on. So imagine that this is here's another crazy thought. Imagine this is Tootsie Part 2.
Oh yeah, I like this more than Tootsie. I did.
Okay, but imagine it's Part 2. It's a direct sequel to Tootsie, and Hoffman married what's her name, right? And they had 3 kids, and then she went and became an interior decorator because the soap opera killed her off. And then he continues to just be Hoffman in his career and, you know, just be a shithead who can't continue to get work. Right. And you've got Tootsie Part 2 all of a sudden. Right. Yeah. And then he decides to put the Tootsie outfit back on to get back with his kids and it's perfect. Look at me.
Right. Tootsie
in an alternate universe. This is Tootsie Part 2, in my opinion.
That's a very good observation because I could see, it's like, I'm going to fool him again. You know, I made a new character.
he puts on what's the woman's character's name that he puts on? What's her name in on the show?
Dorothy. Dorothy.
Dorothy. Yeah, he puts on the Dorothy outfit again and goes full Dorothy. That's fucking Full
time.
Metal Dorothy.
It becomes very mad this time.
Oh my goodness.
And I when I had that thought, I literally wrote on my notes, and now I can't stop laughing because I laughed for a good 5 minutes as soon as I had that. Like I had to pause the movie and just get that out because it was to me one of the funniest things I've thought of in a while, and that's me being me. But yeah, anyway.
So who is the hero of the movie? Is it the judge? No, I'm being silly.
No,
of course, but
no. I don't know. That's a difficult question. Who's the hero? I mean,
everybody's got their unique flaws too. Everybody's kind of human, so they're doing things that a normal human wouldn't do. You know, putting on the bodysuit and the leather face mask and all this over and over again. But they're still human at their core. That's what makes it relatable, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think that the real hero is maybe a message, a moral message. He does stay true to himself. And through that, his children, through example, they soldier through, and that gives them the strength to keep going, and that's heroic. That's very. They all have their own bout of heroism to keep a face when they go to school, to be nice to their mom still, even though they're angry at her. They still think of her like, oh, I do see my mom is feeling happier. They mention that, So I think there's heroism in each character, actually.
And it doesn't wrap up in a perfect bow at the end, I mean, it's kind of a happy ending, but it's not a happy ending,
It's definitely
not getting back together.
Nobody's back together. The family unit's still broken and all that type of stuff.
And yet things are working better than
I'd say it's a very poignant ending for sure. Like it definitely pulls at the heartstrings just right. MAGA must hate this movie. It hit me like this is the whole man and dressed up like a woman. They've got to be like, this is terrible. Like I hate this movie, right? I mean, they have to hate this movie, right? It makes me happy that they're like, well, we can't like this Robin Williams movie anymore. He's dressed up like a woman. Shit. It makes me happy.
I don't think anybody thought about it like that back then, right? The same for Tootsie.
Oh, hell no.
There's a few badly timed jokes in this one that Tootsie didn't have at all, but it's still like it's a product of its time too, where the fear of the man dressed like a woman thing. But it's very brief.
One of my other favorite moments in the movie is when he's at the bar drinking, watching Pierce Brosnan with his family. He's just kind of fuming, sitting there at the bar, and that girl walks up to get a drink, and he goes, "Put that on my tab." She's in his regular voice, and she's like, "Ugh, no thanks."
He forgets that he's wearing a makeup, right?
Dude, you are wearing a woman's. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why is Grandma
hilarious? Like, it's really funny.
He probably has the best hair in the movie as Mrs. Doubtfire. A lot of the other characters, the hairstyles haven't really aged that well.
That's
I was like, what's taking me out of this movie? Oh, it's the hair.
I think that the reveal to the two older kids is crucial.
Yes.
To selling the movie and to making because you're asking the audience, like we would do in every movie, to suspend their disbelief, and sometimes the movie asks you too much, and sometimes it doesn't give you enough so that you can suspend your disbelief. This one does pretty well up until a point where it's like these older kids are gonna fucking figure this out at some point. They're not. I mean, kids 12, 13, 14 are not stupid. The little one, sure, the 7-year-old, you could probably fool her for a while.
After a while, it's like, you smell like my dad.
Yeah, exactly. So, or the eyes or the bridge of the nose or something's going to get in the way, or the makeup's going to creep or something, and so you reveal to them early, and you bring them into the story, and they become conspirators, right? And then you just have to fool the little girl, which should be pretty easy. And now you just got to keep mom fooled, and everything's fine, and they get to hang out. Now they get to hang out with their dad, right? Which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think that that's crucial, and I like the fact that it plays to the kids' awareness and that kids aren't dumb.
Yeah, I think it's a unique perspective, and I think you need this moment to give a little bit of a moment, like that shock, like, Dad? that's you. And then like it's like everything in the movie I think changes from that point on. They like have a sense of comfort, and they feel like little adults too, because like they're watching out for their little sister. And
Right.
so I think it's a cute moment too.
Yeah. Well, it changes too. Like you notice, like at
Yeah.
first when Mrs. Doubtfire's like, "Go do your homework," and they're all, "Fuck you, old lady," and then now it's Dad asking, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna go do our homework."
Right, yeah.
Different thing. Another favorite quote: "As I hold this cold meat, I'm reminded of Winston. God rest his soul." Fucking
Doubtfire.
Jesus
And you know,
Christ.
it's not even a British accent. It's right from his head. It's like this
Mm-hmm.
Scottish fusion,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Well, and I love that Brosnan kind of digs at it.
Little
He's like, "Where's
muddle.
that accent from exactly?" You know, and
Here and there.
Everywhere.
here and there. It's so good.
With his hood ornament. How about that?
It was so good.
It's funny.
uh,
I've only seen this movie twice before. I haven't seen it in about 30 years. Meanwhile, Cliff has it
Wow.
memorized.
Oh, I've
And
seen it
so
it's so many
funny
times.
when I watch it, and this keeps happening on this podcast, which is kind of interesting, and hopefully I'm doing it to Cliff as well. We're giving each other movies to watch that we're not as familiar with, that the other person is inspired by, and then we go, oh, so that's where that little piece in our movie comes from. Like in this one, I
Interesting.
remember there's a scene where Eric's doing air guitar on a broom in Revenge of Zoe, and I was like, wow, that feels very Mrs. Doubtfire-ish.
It
Playing
very
that,
is. It very much is.
mhm.
Yeah.
And the second
Very much
movie, Full Monty, another one I haven't watched in 30 years that Cliff's probably more familiar with, they're constantly practicing the hot stuff, which is a song we use as a filler for our dance number while we were recording it on set. So it's like, oh, I guess these movies are living rent free in his head, and I'm not noticing it. And I'm probably putting in little
Completely.
things that I only know. And so it's kind of the neat thing about the collaboration.
Yeah. It's a 90s movie. It's very much a 90s movie. You know,
Early
Yeah.
90s, it's almost 80s, yeah.
it's that early 90s. It's got that 93 to 96 feel all over it. It's
Mhm.
92 to 96 probably, I'd say. Now, because I agree with you, I think 91 possibly into 92 is still kind of 89-ish, still Terminator 2-ish, that type of shit, still
Mhm.
RoboCop.
This is like Demolition Man, right?
This
Same
is
year.
this is yeah, this is getting towards its own 90s feel, and it's also, I'll say this, and I think that this is important, because there's so few of them. It's another one of these holiday movies where
Ooh.
especially if you're in the Midwest and you go to your dad's house or your uncle's house, and there's a shitload of cousins and your aunts, and they're all kind of probably a little conservative,
Well,
and
you just said they might not like this
you can
anymore, Cliff.
you can possibly throw this along with like My Cousin Vinny and The
Oh, that's a great
Martian.
one.
These are movies that you can throw on, and that anybody, your Uncle Joe's not going to be like, "Oh God damn," and jump up and go running out of. The Blind Side is another one that you can throw on. That's an easy family classic that
Right.
it's not going to offend anybody. It's not too abrasive. Anyway, yeah, I think this is one of those type of movies that falls right into that category. What language do they speak in England? Pakistani? Again, this
Some
movie
places
is
they do.
ridiculous.
But yeah, you're right. It does feel like they're like, we're going to take that Tootsie template and we're going to kind of update it and mix it around, because there was some similarities. That he's the out of work actor. He's at the TV station.
It just
Put
feels
more
like
of
an
the family.
evolution of that. Yeah, it feels like next version of it to a certain extent. And you're right. It's weird. We got into several of these type of men and women suits type of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mama's House. And
So you get up to Tropic
the
Thunder, they're
clubs.
making fun of it with the.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder. Yeah, they're finally
Medea.
making fun of it. Yeah, it had become meta.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I guess the
What do you think? You got
special
any other
effects
thoughts?
were kind of newer at the time to be able to do that kind of prosthetic and have it be realistic, right? In
Absolutely.
'93, it was like, oh wow, look at that, he's really in a suit.
Well, the trivia is that he went into an adult store to buy something and walked in and walked out with having purchased probably a feminine like a dildo or something like that. I think was the rumor that he walked, just went in and in full Mrs. Doubtfire. Nobody said a damn thing.
Wow.
Nobody.
Woo! What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say to Mr.
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to say to some woman who's like, "Oh, can I see the dildos, please?" And,
Did they do that when they were testing out the makeup for the White Chicks movie?
Oh, God.
Evolution might have the same type. I'm going to put on a. They're making a sequel to that too, by the way. I'm glad that they never made a sequel to this. They just left it alone. It's just there, and it's its own thing, and
it's perfect. Leave it like it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Really.
We could have 12 Doubtfire movies by now. Somebody else playing Mrs. Doubtfire, and you're just like, oh, please stop making these. But no, they only made the one, and it's very rare. That's something that's such a big hit. They're like, it doesn't have to be a franchise. Meanwhile, some executives writing notes right now.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really unique thing that it just stands alone. It's good. Don't touch it and leave it alone. I feel like if you kept like milking this concept, you're just gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose how you felt when you first saw it. You're just not. I feel like they would have taken it somewhere else. Like, oh, the kids grow up and maybe there's a conflict with him now, and then like, why? We don't need this.
Now I can see it as like eventually the son is in the Mrs. Doubtfire costume and his dad's trying to tell him not to, but he's the only way he gets to be with his kids and so on and so forth.
That could be something too, yeah, but it's too much.
It's way too much. It becomes diminishing returns very quickly.
Right.
But I also get it. I mean, this movie, $25 million to make this movie, it made $220 million.
Oh, wow.
And so the studio was like, can we fire this? I mean, I get it. Like, let's do this again. And Rob's smartly, they were like, no, not doing it.
Right. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, we worked at the movie theater when this was out, so I was cleaning up theaters after.
Yeah.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, in fact, I was in the theater for some reason, and I had this flash, and that scene where he's walking across the street and that dude tries to grab his purse and he's like, "Give me this!" Just rips it away from the dude. Like the audience was howling, like they thought that was extremely funny. I remember going, "Wow, that's a big reaction for that."
It's great though because it's shocking and probably it's like an inner woman. Like women want to be able to do that, and he's a man,
That's
so
exactly
he has a lot of like authority when he like speaks with his deeper voice, which he pulls out when that happens. So I think it's like women like, oh God, that's gonna be me next time. And the guy broke the purse. Oh, how can you believe? Terrible, but a good shopping day. There's that.
What do you think, Marty? What do you give it?
I mean, you all give me a better perspective on the film. I give it 2.5 out of 5. It's never been a huge favorite of mine. I've always thought Robin Williams was so talented, and they always gave him these weird movies to be in, by and large, that didn't really showcase a lot of what he had to do. But watching this one again, it's like you said earlier, it's just a vehicle for him to do craziness for 2.5 hours, and then it just kind of ends. But I enjoyed it for that. And also, hearing how both of you enjoy the film makes me look at it a little bit differently as well. So, yeah, I enjoy it more than I did going into it. Yes.
Cool.
I think it's 3. I give it 3.5. I think it's, I mean, I wouldn't say it's, it's classic cinema and it's one of the top 100 films of all time, but I think it's eminently rewatchable. I think it's very funny. And it pays off. It can't you go back to this film and there's still something funny to find. No matter how many times I watch the movie, watching him and Harvey Fierstein do the whole makeup thing is always funny. Whereas he's like, "Well, I've got plaster of Paris, and well, can we go this way?" And he's like, "Oh, honey, I don't have the strength." And there's just like a whole bit thing, a routine there. Yes. And they feel very comfortable with each other in that scene going back and forth. It feels very like you've got Fierstein who's done Broadway and you've got Rob Williams who's a classically trained Juilliard actor, and they're just like pow, 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 back and forth. So anyway, I think it pays off. I think it plays well, and 3.5 for me. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm like at a 4.8 out of 5. I love this movie. Okay. Gotcha. I love this movie for the premise that the actor can be an actor and just be themselves. I feel like it's a freedom to create and to perform without restriction. And that's why the emotions feel so real to me. So it is for me on my top, but I can see, both of your perspectives. The flaws, like let's say the ending, you feel like it just falls for you, Marty.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see these areas, but for me, to see people be able to just perform and they're loving it, and you see the intensity between Sally Field and Robin Williams when they're fighting, you feel it, and that some of this is a little off script because you see it in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Those moment by moments by moments are so real, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I think most people would call this 4 to 5 stars. I think and I think most people. I mean, heck, when we do our season recast, I may even go higher because I think, like you mentioned, they put Robin Williams in a lot of weird vehicles trying to figure out what worked for him. Everything from Mork and Mindy into Popeye, which was terrible, and this really worked for him. I feel like this voicing Aladdin really worked for him. They found certain things, and so when you look at, especially when you look at the this trajectory of his work, I mean, to me, I think the crazy part is that his best work is his dramatic work.
I mean, he wanted to do more of that, but there's don't be funny again.
When and I love him when he's funny. I love his stand up, and I love that type of thing. But I feel like when he hit Good Will Hunting level of stuff, where it was like, Jesus, he can really act. Like he's not just this manic dude; he can really act.
And that's what makes this movie work, is those moments where the drama comes through. He's playing it so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clown becomes real for a minute. That's what I'm saying. You guys are making me like the movie more. I see it from.
Well, that's not the second. I mean, we did that with the Hoys came on, and they brought a film that Marty and I both were like, hell no. But by the time we got finished talking to them about it, we're like, oh, I kind of see what you mean.
Like I didn't.
I brought my rating up by quite a bit because at first I was like, this was nothing but just a panic attack in an hour and 45-minute movie. Like I just. Oh. It's called, what was it called?
Give Me Liberty. Yeah.
Give Me Liberty.
Yeah. That one should have been released a few weeks ago.
I mean, if you ever see Uncut Gems?
No.
So it's kind of like Uncut Gems, where the movie just proceeds to build tension and build tension and build tension until you're finally like you find yourself holding your breath and being like, Jesus Christ, come on, and
right.
It's one of those and just so in your face and insanely that I was just like, I don't like this at all. And I think Marty had the same reaction. Where I was like, dude, what is with this aggressive fucking movie we're watching? I feel like I'm being punched in the face by this movie.
You guys wouldn't like the 40s movies then, or like anything back with like Cagney, because like there's like a tension, and then it just ends.
I mean, it's like like Goodfellas. Okay. How the tension builds and builds and builds. Yeah. You get, especially when he gets into the coke and he's being followed by the cops and all that stuff. That was like the entire movie. It's like I think my biggest problem with it was like there was nowhere to go. It's like a plate of food where everything tastes the same. There's nowhere to go for relief. There's no
nuance. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no crunch. There's no brightness. There's no acid. There's no sweetness. There's nothing. It's just. Bam, the same thing over and over.
Are you a gastropub? You like acids and the crunch?
I like some foods. I like some foods. I've eaten some pretty good restaurants at times, yes. And so, yeah. But I mean, and I'm not one of these people that's like, you got to have all that in a plate, but it's nice to have some relief to go somewhere, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. Gastropub. Let's move on. All right. What's the next one there, Marty?
Okay, so we go from the early 90s to more of the late 90s. 93 and 97. What an interesting week to plot back in. It's like I walk out a Blockbuster Video with 2 tapes. It's
God, yes.
At the same time. Please. And here's one that
my heaven is literally just being able to walk the new release section at Blockbuster A through Z just eternally. And then movies change. Sorry.
And one day I was walking those aisles and said, "Oh, the Full Monty. This is supposed to be good." Rented that, took it home. That was around 98, I guess, because the movie had been out for a year. And it's one of those movies that I have a false memory of watching it earlier. but I couldn't have because the movie did not exist yet. You ever get that sometimes? You think back and it's like, wait, that doesn't compute. But anyways,
Yeah, I watched that the same summer I watched Blah Blah Blah.
Yeah, what is the full Monty, Cliff? I mean, we know what the full Monty is, but what is this movie called the full Monty?
Well, first I'll start off with what the full Monty is because of this movie.
True.
6 unemployed steelworkers form a male striptease act. The women cheer them on to go for the full Monty, which means total nudity. Let me read you that. That's the log line here. Let me read you the storyline. In the decaying... Oh, this is a long one. All right. In the decaying steel town of Sheffield in North England, friends Gaz and Dave, both now unemployed and on the dole after the closure of most of the town's steel mills, steal scrap metal from the closed mills to supplement their meager income, often with Gaz's 12-year-old son Nathan on the days that Gaz still has custody.
That's what they're doing with those beams in the beginning. Okay, I didn't even catch that.
That's why he yelled at him when he dropped it, and he told me, "Man, that's $20. That's $20. Yeah.
I thought it was the way they could walk past over the water, but anyways."
So Gaz is behind in child support payments to his ex-wife Mandy, and Mandy threatens to sue for full custody if Gaz can't support Nathan in any way. Gaz sees a long lineup of women clamoring to get in to see a young touring Chippendales-style dance troupe and thinks he can solve his financial and custody problems by forming his own male exotic dance troupe with some of his fellow unemployed ex-mill workers. In addition to Dave, he has in mind middle-aged Gerald, their former foreman, who has not told his spending happy wife Linda that he is unemployed for 6 months, and Lumper, a mild-mannered security guard who they must just met in the act of him trying to commit suicide in his depression. The obvious problem is that with the exception of Gerald, who knows how to ballroom dance, they're not generally stripper material in either in look, skill, or temperament, especially slightly overweight Dave, who has body images and believes his wife Jean has a wandering eye because of what he considers his unappealing looks. In an open casting amongst those at the employment office, they are able to recruit further misfits Horse, an older man who does know the contemporary dances of his era, and younger Guy, who can't dance and can't sing but loves singing in the rain and has a natural gift below the belt. The lunchbox has arrived. Beyond the many obstacles in being able to put together a dance strip act that women would pay to see, they have to overcome their own individual issues. Gaz's, which include Nathan, who loves his father, but with who he just wants to do normal father-son activities.
And what is normal?
Well, it's definitely not watching your dad strip in front of a bunch of screaming women. So
Child Protective Services once again in both films.
He doesn't get his wish because he's not doing normal shit with his dad, that's for sure.
It's definitely a stark contrast to Mrs. Doubtfire because you can
right.
You could feel for Mrs. Doubtfire, right? You could feel, and then when you see the full Monty, you question things. You question a lot of things, like why is Lunchbox hitting himself running towards a wall?
Because he's trying to do the walk up the wall Donald O'Connor bit, with
he did it more than once.
Twice. Yeah. One of my notes is, buddy, if you're gonna do that in comedy, you got to do it 3 times. It's the rule of 3. You got to do it 3 times. Where's my third run up the wall and smack yourself?
Oh.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, but it really is a contrast, and believe it or not, I like Dave as a character. I know Gaz is the main character, I know, but I like Dave. He's
I think he has more to do,
right?
In the film, yeah.
There's depth. There's a lot of depth.
Agreed.
That was grown and grown. I don't feel like Gaz really grows as a character in the full Monty the way Dave does. He struggles with a body image issue that is very deep, very conveyed, and unique. You don't see men with a body issue, and I love how his wife supports him.
Oh, they have them.
It's a beautiful moment in the movie, definitely.
I agree. In fact, there's that moment where he's laying in bed with his wife and he gets up and he sneaks out into the shed and he's eating a candy bar and he starts wrapping himself in saran. And what I noticed that is one of the saddest fucking things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And as a guy who's been on the bigger side most of his life at times, half here and half there, that's tough, man. It messes with your head, and especially like dieting is just such a weird thing in general. It's such a weird concept. When what you really need to do is eat better and be more active, that type of thing. So wrapping yourself in saran wrap or whatever, doing your keto weird carb count thing that you do or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's it's pretty wild. It can lead you to some weird headspaces for sure.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Well,
I think showing that saran wrap is a perfect example of that. Where
yes.
he just looks like a sad fucking, just the saddest sack right there. Where he's just,
This is what I gotta do. It's visual, but I like how he finds a way. He finds a way that satisfies him as a person. And I love how his wife is about to walk out and she's like, she thinks he's like cheating and all this stuff. And, and then it's like this moment where he's like, nah, this is what this is. I think it's beautiful. And I feel like Gaz, we don't reach that moment. We don't kind of reach that throughout there with the same development.
No, I think he finally gets his kid to be sort of proud of him, which is his, to a certain extent, his whole goal. His whole goal is to make a real connection with his son. One of my notes is, it's tough to watch him so desperately trying to connect with his son early on in the film, where he's like, it's sort of awkward and heartbreaking. It's funny.
Yeah.
But it's also sort of where you're like, he's like, oh, he is not going to get tickets to fucking Arsenal and Man U. Those are expensive ass tickets. He's not pulling that off.
Yeah.
But he's desperate to do anything that he can to get this kid to like him, but at the same time, he's like, they're warming up takeout food on the warm car thing. And the kid's like, I don't like Chinese food. He's like, yeah, of course you do. Don't you? What? No. It's like,
right. He doesn't, I think this is like a critical thing for me is that we understand Mrs. Doubtfire, why he wants to be with his kids. What is the want for Gaz? Is it just because it's his kid? Because it's a gap for me. The want is like, does he just want to say, I talked to my kid, I went out with my kid, this is my kid, I gave birth to you, and so you're mine? Like, I don't get the real want.
It seems mainly that he just feels like and again, he's constantly trying to connect with the kid, but there isn't like it's not spelled out. You're right. It's more like that's my son, I'm his father type of thing,
black
right?
and white. This and that's it.
You just going to stand there while some poof is waving his tackle at your missus. One of my favorite things is where he's sitting in the bathroom and he watches that woman pee standing up, and they're all laughing.
Both movies.
And he's just like, he goes, and later on he's in the job club with the boys, and he's just shaking his head, and you can just see this fucking stunned look on his face, like he's like, we're not even needed now, are we? Like, fucking, they could pee standing up, dude. They've evolved. Like, we're fucking pointless. Like, it's over for us, guys. And like, peeing standing up to him is the evolute. Like at least that separates us, and even that is now fucked in some weird way. And it makes me laugh every time. Every time we get to where he's just got this dumbfounded fucking paradigm shifted look on his face, where he's just like, his whole world is taken on a completely different hue, and it fucking makes me laugh hysterically. It really does. It's so good.
I guess that happens. That must be his arc, right? That happens to him through the whole movie. His point of view is shattered. So even at the end, where he has finally made some kind of connection with his son, like it was like, I need to do this because I'm a father and it's the right thing to do, but I don't know why I'm doing it. And the kid almost doesn't know why. And then they finally figure out why, kind of, at the end.
Yeah.
I felt like his kid invested in the performance, so he better fucking go on. I mean, $100. He's an investor now.
Right.
So I felt like he should go on.
Yeah, totally. I put $100 on the line. You get your ass out there and shake your butt.
Shake it.
That's hilarious. I love how they build their entourage, because they end up with an entourage. They end up with that Reservoir Dogs walk, down the street, and it's an entourage, and we're fans of that show on this show. But I love how, like, first they meet Lumper, the guy who plays the trumpet, and he's trying to kill himself in the car.
Yeah.
And Mark Addy's character is just like, oh, let me help you out. And he's, it's your HT lanes. There you go. It should be good. And, and then it gets away, and he realizes, oh shit, he runs back and pulls the guy out. And first thing he says is, oh, you bastard. And he's like, fuck you. And he shoves him back in the car and closes the door. That's so good.
Yeah. It's fulfilling. That part is fulfilling.
Really good. There is a moment though, like after they save him and they're like, don't tell us we're not your mates. And they're trying to figure out, better ways for him to kill himself, you know, and like, well, you're not very keen, are you? Like, that's the whole point. Well, I can't swim. He's like, that's the fucking point in drowning, you idiot, you know. But then he goes home and he catches his mom kind of making her way up the stairs, and he picks her up and he drags her up, and she says, I thought you'd gone. And I thought, ooh, fuck, that moment has a lot more weight to it. After, you know, it's a really nice moment there where you put a lot of weight and emphasis on what he did. Right, like how close she came to. Yeah, he was fucking gone. Yeah.
Right. It gives him a lot of purpose, and it gives you the "what if you didn't exist" sort of scenario. What if you didn't exist? Would she be dead tomorrow because she relies? So it's like his godly purpose was shown to him.
Yeah, and it turns it away from a throwaway moment of just seeing him come home into something that has some impact. You know,
there's a lot of depth throughout the whole movie. Everything's pretty well rounded, and just
it's definitely doing more than just telling you the story that it's telling you. Like, and that's, I'll say, you know, Mrs. Doubtfire is kind of doing that too, where it's trying to deal with family dynamics and you know, blended families and stuff like that, and trying to find some comedy and some kind of common ground there. I think both of these pictures are doing that.
Broken Home Week on Talking Pondo.
I love the scene where he's like, here, put on hot chocolate and I'll show you guys what a sexy dance is. And they put on, you know, and he burns his t-shirt with a cigarette, and the dancing's so bad the kid just fucking runs off. Even the kid's like, oh my God, you're such a freaking embarrassment. And they have to go chase him down. It's so good. That's so good.
Right. I feel like the kid is interesting. And maybe it could have been like, I don't know, expounded a little more, because I think there's some like untapped depth there, because I feel like he's like, just do it. Just, if you're gonna do it, just do it. And his dad shows a little bit of like a pussy quality. You're not doing it. If you're gonna tell me that you're gonna do it, do it. And I like that about the kid, because you know, that's unique. So I feel like I wanted that fulfilled like a tiny bit more. But otherwise, I think it's an interesting break from everything else going on.
I mean, the movie's 90 minutes, like almost to the on the nose. I think it's 90, 91.
Yeah.
And you know, with credits, probably 85, 86, right? So I could have probably done with 5 more minutes of maybe a little kid development of the kid, and maybe a little bit more focused on that father-son relationship, or at least figuring out who this kid is. Maybe figuring out that he gets harassed at school because of who his dad is, or something like that, to kind of bring that in a little bit, maybe. But I also do like the fact that it's a tight 90 minutes. They're out on this.
It's like you said about the Pierce Brosnan and the other film. It's like, no, it leaves you wanting that little more.
That's a good point.
And it's like, he has that youthful exuberance of, I'm fearless, just do it. Oh, I'm older, I'm scared, I'm reserved. No, you need the kid to push you.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I wonder if there's deleted scenes.
I imagine there might be, yeah. This is early Tom Holland too, which I hadn't seen much of him before this, and he really makes a meal out of it. It was my job scene. Like I could see him like taking this script and being like, oh, there it is. There's the scene I'm going to fucking take this role for right there. I'm really going to lean into this shit. And he does. I mean, he crushes it. Like you really feel that.
There was a movie we watched that he was in recently for the show. What was it?
Oh, Lord. Tom Wilkinson. My apologies.
Yeah, that's how Tom Wilkinson. Not Spider-Man.
Yeah, not Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was really confused because I'm like,
my bad.
He lost this job, and I don't think it's the same.
Holler out, call me an idiot. It's fine. Tom Wilkinson. It wasn't King's Speech. It wasn't. I'm looking through his list trying to find it.
It was something we watched for the show just a few weeks ago. As I was looking up his IMDb as well. That's why I should write these things down.
Yeah, we should do more research. We're terrible at this. Of course, I'm going to edit this anyways. So, not Shakespeare in Love. Rush Hour. He's Jim Tao in fucking Rush Hour. Duh.
Of all things.
Yeah, he's the bad guy. He's the bad British guy in Rush Hour. He's the guy that, yeah. Wow, forgotten all about that. Anyway, he's really good in this. I think he makes a meal out of that. Like I said, he makes a meal out of that. It was my job scene. He does a really good job. I love the part where he has to tell his wife that he's been lying to her for 6 months, and she smashes his gnome.
I don't like gnomes.
He's like, I thought you liked her. She's like, nah, fuck, I don't never like gnome, you idiot. I love the auditions when that fucking guy is almost crying and he's auditioning. That shit is so funny. And he's like, and you shouldn't have a kid here either, and he's putting his clothes back on, and oh my god, and the horse is great. All that stuff is fantastic.
Why you called horse?
Yeah, what do you call horse? Horse by name, horse by nature. I love it. And that at that point you get the gang formed, right? And they start to hang out together and they start to kind of support each other, and you get this especially like when they come to repossess fucking Gerald's shit, and suddenly all of them show, because there's that scene where they all have to get get undressed in front of each other, because it's like, if we can't dress in front of each other, we're never going to be able to do it in front of 1,000 screaming women, so let's go off with the kit. And then these dudes come in to start taking his TV and shit. And here come these 5 naked dudes, like, put that shit down and leave. It's so good. Is that a Bob Dylan tune? When they're playing soccer, is that a friggin' Bob Dylan tune, or is that just some weird British song that sounds like a Bob Dylan tune?
I mean, I know there's a lot of.
He said it all, you broke, It just sounded just like Bob Dylan. It was.
Oh, I missed that one. I guess I was stuck on the hot stuff so much.
My favorite scene in the movie is them standing in line. Oh.
Yeah, and they realize
wait to get their checks, and they're doing their shoulders to hot stuff.
You know what my favorite scene is? Actually, when they're rehearsing. I love how you have that redhead just like this. He just has his hands up, and they have to change everything for him. It's like, you don't move, and it doesn't happen. Nothing moves on him. I mean, nothing moves.
It's so good.
How do you do it? Why don't you do it? But I like how they all come together and they're like, all right, we're just gonna change everything for him, no problem. And he just stands there. What? Just one move. I love that scene. It's like a friendship sort of thing. This movie has a lot of friendship, I feel.
It does. It does. There's a lot of bro, a lot of bro stuff, a lot of good bro vibes in this movie. British bro vibes, triple B's, British bro vibes, or BBVs.
I love how it's also a different part of England. Like, we're so used to seeing like a classic London estuary sort of scenes. I love how this is different.
Sheffield's like a smaller kind of town built around a steel mill and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. It's real people.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It feels very, very much more like real people. I think the Brits do, for me, they do the kind of blue collar, kind of down on his luck, struggling type of comedy way better than Americans do. I can't really think of any that aren't super farcical. These, like Full Monty, at least has some heart to it, and it's at least trying to do something beyond just be a silly comedy.
True. True.
And I think that for some reason the Brits tend to do that better than us. I don't know why that is.
It's like that.
They're drier. They're drier
too. Yeah, they're drier.
Yeah. The dryness allows you to go into normal speaking. Because it's just like, oh yeah, I just tried to, suffocate in a car, and tomorrow I'm going to work.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't
call.
sensationalize the comedy. Nothing's sensationalized. It's just continuous.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Now, I've never seen Magic Mike, but have you seen that? How does that relate to? Is it a similar story? Is it not the same at all?
I think Magic Mike is just about a group of guys who strip.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's not about building a strip group. The practice dance is amazing, where where a horse is like, oh shit, my niece is here, damn it, and they end up stripping, and then suddenly 2 of them are gay, which I don't have a problem with, but I remember the first time watching this going, that's kind of out of left field. I didn't really see it coming.
And I also like how it's just like anything else. Like with the
exactly.
That's just, the movie continues.
Well, and their friends don't even mention it. Nobody has a problem with it. And I like I said, I don't either. It's just, I just didn't pick up any indicators of it, right? Like I didn't see any glances or whatever. When he calls him saggy tits. I mean, why would you want to date somebody you call saggy tits?
Foreshadowing to it that I picked up on anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. There didn't seem to be any foreshadowing to it.
But
Yeah,
maybe that's real, you know?
Yeah.
People just kind of
yeah,
fall in love. People just
yeah,
kind of like each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they
yeah.
just kind of looked
They,
at each other in that
they did
moment.
have that great
And
moment. Yeah,
I
yeah,
like you. And I think that it was so real and very
hmm,
British. Just keep going on, keep moving,
yeah,
keep
Mm-hmm.
going.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
even though it felt
Yeah.
stark, you can understand that geez,
Stark is a perfect example. That's a
right,
perfect way to put it.
people just like each other no matter
Yeah,
what. So
Stark. I quite liked it. I thought it was a great way to handle it. Where it was like,
yeah,
look, we're not going to dwell on it. It's not a huge part of the story. Here it is. Boom, done.
real
Moving on.
people, real story,
Yeah,
and real emotion towards this.
yeah.
Doesn't need to be deep, does it?
When those cops are asking that kid, so your daddy dances in front of you, does he? He's like, yeah, yeah.
God.
Oh God. But at that point, the kid's into it. He wants his dad to succeed. He sees his
Yeah.
dad's effort, right? Like he's like, Jesus, this is the
Right.
first time I've seen my dad do anything that wasn't
Right.
illegal.
Jail.
That wasn't going to put him in jail, and he's actually putting in effort, and he's focused a bunch of group. He's actually leading a group of people who are all doing it, right? It's not just some
Right.
solo thing that he's doing. Now he's suddenly a leader of men to a certain extent.
Right. Right. I think that the movie handles people who lose their job in a very real way. It's not sugar coated.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. You know,
Yeah.
people feel like shit when this happens, and it shows the lengths people will go to provide.
Mm.
So I think that there's a thing on, will the viewer judge the characters or be there to support the characters through this? You know, it's an interesting thought that I had.
Mm-hmm.
It's like both movies are about creative types
Yeah.
continuing to be creative in order to make their way through life. They don't ever
Right.
stop doing the creative thing, go get a normal, boring job. They find a way to make the creative thing work for them.
Well, I think in Full Monty, it's more that he stumbles into it, and having probably been a creative much of his life, but he does stumble into this creative outlet,
It's a
which
creative
allows
outlet
him to,
for it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if I remember correctly, after this movie came out, there were literally actual traveling Full Monty strip shows that went around.
Oh,
So
that's
it wasn't
right. Yeah.
I mean, this was a phenomenon in the '90s. This is a $3.5 million movie that did $260 million worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
It
Wow.
cleaned up.
Wow.
And it became a Broadway play, a musical, a regular play. It's had multiple kind of musical sequels to it. It's it's considered one of the top 25 British films of all time in Britain. It's a big one.
And it just started as a Channel 4 production. I was seeing the credits. I'm like, wow, this starts from the TV roots, and then it got bigger. Now, did they ever make Mrs. Doubtfire into a stage production? I almost feel like there was.
Jeez, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Misremembering it, but it certainly wasn't what Full Monty did with its stage production.
No.
Right? I think that's still going in some stage. They're touring it.
I believe it is, actually.
Wow.
I think Full Monty, though, also tells the story of a guy who he gets fired. Where's the loyalty from, his country with this happening to him when the whole town depends on this steel, factory, and he kind of makes a statement to himself, I'm not going to work for somebody else. I'm going to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can fire me. And I think that's a bold statement.
Agreed. I completely agree with that.
Oh, they're steel workers. That's why he's watching the Flashdance to get inspired.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and I love how he's like, she's fucking terrible. Well, shut up, Dave. He's like, no, her fucking mix is all decocked. That weld will never fucking hold. It's like, shut, Dave. We're not here to watch the welding, you idiot.
That's just a souped up tango.
So here's an interesting thing about Miss Doubtfire. We had talked about sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie Hunt, you guys know Bonnie Hunt is. She began to develop Mrs. Doubtfire too.
Oh.
And Robin Williams was set to return.
Wow.
But he was unhappy with the plot and the new script, and basically it kept being capped and put off until finally he just was like, you guys are never going to be able to write this. I'm just not going to do it. And so project was dumped.
Well, maybe they made the right call,
I think Robin made the right call where he was like, nah, let's see, if you're going to do this, it's going to have to be as good or better. And they just couldn't come up with it.
Well, that's honorable. That doesn't happen too often. Usually it's like, just take the paycheck and
True.
especially nowadays, where I mean, Hollywood, if it's not an established IP, then how can we do a reboot or a sequel?
Yeah, neither of these
Because
were.
I don't want to throw my money down the drain on an original idea. Fuck that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
Kidding me?
Look what these did. These were original ideas.
Well, it's
fucking
it's the 70s and the 80s. It's like, guys, go look at, and then the 90s with indie. It's like, if you don't want to put your money into original films, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Just take a look at A24's model. You had a studio that spent $180 million on Red One, and A24 went out and made like 15 pictures or 12 pictures for that amount of money. And a couple of them were fucking Oscar nominated.
Right.
What are you doing? I don't get it.
Well, anyway, what do you give this one, Cliff?
Me? This one? I really like this one. I think it does a lot of things very well. Previously we were talking about how inappropriate it is for a kid to be in a strip club watching men strip, and I agree with you, but for some reason it still comes off. They're able to make that shit charming.
He's the business manager at this point.
That's fucking, when you go, oh, look, it's charming. It's fine. Yeah. It's not a problem at all. I'll call child services. In fact, child services is in the fucking room watching and laughing along with everybody else.
True.
So it's fine. It's fine, charming. Fucking, it's one of some of the greatest sleight of hand, especially for nowadays, you'll ever see. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it's right up there.
Yeah, I do 3.5. I'm almost right up there with you. It's excellent. I'd only seen it maybe once before when it was relatively new, and watching it again, it still completely holds up.
It's got a rewatchability factor too. It really is. It's got a decent rewatchability factor. You? What do you think?
I would think a 4. I think a 4 out of 5 because I feel fulfilled by it, and I feel like if I feel fulfilled by a movie, that's enough for me. I don't want to overanalyze things because when you overanalyze, it just gets really terrible. And
what is that kid doing in that strip club?
Right, analyze a serious subject. It's serious, but there's heart, there's friendship, there's themes in here that I don't feel like you see so often. You don't really see like bros just broing.
It's hard to do that in a movie without it being like The Hangover or something, right? Where
like that one.
It's a great movie, but it's sort of like an over the top kind of out there comedy. This one is trying to. It's a little more subtle, in my opinion, right? It's doing things in a little bit more of a subtle way.
That's true.
Reminds me of I Love You Man quite a bit. Where I Love You Man is all about a guy who doesn't have any male friends having to go out in his adulthood and get some male friends because he's getting married and he needs a best man. And so it's pretty good. Watch that one too, kids.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I think that's what we've got here, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Well, of course, my indie micro short film, The Mission is Complete, Angelique, just won an award. She's screening in India, which is really exciting, global. A few more festivals coming up that can be seen on Film Freeway. And Right to Kill is going to start shooting early next year. So I'm really excited about that because the cast is so sensational. And I just know it's going to be really great. We're already working on the music with a amazing composer, so I know that this is going to be aces. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you back on after it comes out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talk about it, do another film sequence. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed coming on. We really enjoyed having you.
Oh, absolutely. You guys are very hospitable. And also, I love your opinions about, the movies because you're very fair. I like that. Like some people, you can't talk to them about a movie because they're like, no, man, this movie's this. Or they're like, no, this. But you guys are so fair, neutral, and, you really talk about depth about things. And you're perfect for reviewing because you've got it. You've got, a really good mojo going on there.
I think it's growing. I think we early on, like if you listen to some of our earlier episodes, we definitely get stuck in the kind of the mud of like, oh, what a how dare you give me this piece of shit? Oh my god! And I think it's fair to call something out like that. I feel like this didn't click with me at all. It's just not a good movie. but I think we've also gotten better at saying, however, it did some things very well. It didn't work for me. I didn't like it. Like it's like a flavor that I don't like to taste. But at the same time, I get that it was well prepared. Like it's not like it was overdone or this and that. But at the same time, it's just I don't like that.
Right.
But I think I think we're getting better at that too. So I appreciate that. That's
You
nice
guys
to
are
see.
smooth. I mean, honestly, this is a great setup. I think that if do you have yourself on like Apple Podcasts and stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
we're on Apple, Spotify. Yeah,
Good.
I think you're going to be episode 80 or something like that. 88. All right, well, let's get out of here. Everybody got a quote that they want to use? I got mine. You ready?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I am Job. I am Job.
Barrington, 2 R's.
And yours?
Well, that's easy. You're fat, you're skinny, and you're still fucking ugly.
Let's get out of here. Perfect. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like us on YouTube, or give us a 5-star rating on the podcast app of your choice.